Ah, fuck. I got owned there. And it's already too late for 3 stars. How the fuck am I supposed to do this? Ah, fuck. No, I'm taking this. Okay, so that's how. Getting too distracted. I should be getting out of here. Alright, so you kill one, and that gives you the opening to get out of there. Okay, that guy's dead. That's exactly what I wanted. So for all the heavies, I just need to do the big stab. And that guy's fucking booking it. Oh, yeah. I don't know. Fucking deal with it, I guess. There we go. Killed them all. Wow. Just 1 star, yeah. I really do need to be using the knife more in that one, I think. You break elements, enemies, invincible until environmental... Wait, what? Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck, it's one of these. Where was I? Shit. More talks about self-defense with weapons. One of the mistakes that a lot of people make when grappling with weapons is not paying attention to the arms. Because the most effective takedowns are by like scooping people from the legs or the hips. They are. And so a lot of people, when they're grappling and it's like, oh, I need to wrestle this guy, aren't gonna do like arm drags or anything. They're going to be doing body locks, sweeps, but like sweep off, not like that kind of a sweep, but fuck, where was I going? Not a standing sweep. They're gonna lock up the upper body and then sweep the leg. And the thing is, when someone has a knife, they don't need to hit that hard to stab you. So if you don't lock up that arm, they're gonna fucking stab you. Ow! Damn! Okay. Okay. Be that way. Jesus. I gotta be careful. In the membrane. Oh! Throwing weapons hurts me! Oh! Oh no! I can't. Oh my. Oh, this is interesting. This is interesting. Yeah, I like. This is okay. All right. Give me that. I wasn't sure that was gonna actually. Oh shit! Shit! And so, where was I going with this? Grappling against someone with a weapon is very effective. If you look at any historical weapon fighting combat anything, grappling is always a part of it. Now, there isn't a lot of literature in that of unarmed versus someone with a weapon that is effective, and that's just because when a lot of these manuals were written, everybody was carrying at least a dagger, if not a sword, if not an axe. You know, they always had something on them that they could use as a weapon, and that was always more effective to use against someone that, with a weapon than, you know, dropping your weapon and fighting them barehanded, you know, because why would you do that? And so, you know, a lot of those manuals, a lot of those techniques assume you're already carrying a weapon. And that's why I'm a large advocate for people carrying some kind of, you know, implement to be used in a combative scenario. But as I was saying, there's just not a lot of unarmed techniques against weapons out there. And so, you know, there's not a lot of literature there. And a lot of the techniques that have come up is mostly people kind of just guessing that might work, and a lot of them are based off of like, oh, if your attacker tries to stab you, you intercept the stab and, you know, grapple with them, and that's almost impossible. Why? Because people who you are using a knife on you know they don't need to hit you that hard. Like, the hardest you need to hit or not the hardest, the amount of force you need to hit somebody in order to stab someone is like a light jab, and that's all you need to kill somebody with a knife. Just a light jab, a light little arm jab. And so they're not going to do this big telegraphed committed thrust ever. They're gonna grab onto you if they can, and they're gonna just keep stabbing you over and over again, which is why if you're gonna grapple with a guy with a knife, it is far better to be the active aggressor there than it is to react to their attack first. You do not want to counter someone with a knife because the chances of you dying when you get hit because you failed to counter them properly is super high. So it's far better to be the aggressor. So if you're gonna grapple with someone with a knife, you know, you need to be the aggressor. You can't just be waiting on your opponent to make the first strike. You have to strike first. In terms of what techniques work best when grappling with a knife, I don't know. I haven't done enough practice. I have a feeling an arm drag would be very useful. You know, having a really good arm drag or a really good, like a really good, is it a darce? Where you choke someone by like squeezing their shoulder against it. I don't think that's a darce choke. Either way, just being really good at manipulating their upper body and locking up their arms is probably your best bet, in my opinion. My untrained opinion when it comes to the arts of grappling with a knife. So if you're going to do an arm drag, or if you're going to be grappling someone's arms, someone's limbs, when they're holding a knife, you simply cannot wait for them to attack first. You have to initiate that grappling before they can get the blade moving. And so, you know, an arm drag where you attack at both the forearm and the upper arm at the same time, which are much easier to grab than the wrist or hand. So it's like, and again, like I said, I have not done enough practice with knives to be able to give you like an educated opinion on it. I've done little things, little like playing around with friends every now and then. Whereas if you want to get good at weapons defense, you need to be doing that shit regularly. So, you know, everything that I say in regards to unarmed knife defense is conjecture. It's not educated. Gimme, 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 gimme.
Stop him!
This is an interesting... This is a very interesting twist on this challenge. Having an invincible boss here to fucking harass me while I'm trying to do my job.
Not so tough after all.
Fuck. Okay, thanks. What's it called? And to bring proof to what I said about everybody should carry some kind of implement or tool for self-defense. In this season of the self-defense championship, the contestants were given a option to use a self-defense pen for their things, and I the efficacy of a self-defense pen, you know, that's an entire other, like, that's a whole ass subject of whether or not you can use them effectively. But you know, if it was a knife, like, and it was used the way the contestants were using it, it would have worked. Because particularly the way Jesse used it. Jesse is the YouTuber, the karate nerd. He used the self-defense pen very effectively. He took a fencing stance with it to jab the guy in the eye, and it's like,
That can't be possible.
so it's like, yeah, that would fucking work if it was a knife. He also used it to stab him in the groin. And believe it or not, that is one of the best targets that you can hit when you're using a knife. I just barely made it, Jesus Christ. Because there are major arteries there, but there's also, like, you know, the musculature there, the ligaments there is how you walk. If you stab someone, and I'm not saying stab them directly in, like, the genitals, no, I'm talking about, like, the groin. If you can do enough damage to the linkages, to the muscular structure there, they won't be able to run after you. And so, like, people who know how to use a knife, they're going for that, or they're going for the neck, or they're going for the ribs, and they're trying to get in between the ribs, because you can get stabbed in a lot of places and it not end the fight.
Came to the wrong place, pal.
Like, there are people who get stabbed, like, you know, 45 times and live. It's not fun, and you can still die, because you can still bleed to death, obviously. But, like, there are certain areas of the body that are significantly better to hit somebody with a knife than not. So, in order to, that's the thing about, like, using a knife for self-defense, is that if, you know, if you want to be good enough to be able to use it as self-defense and not murder, you need to already be pretty good at fighting. And the reason being is that the only time, you know, a knife could be legally justified And remember, I said legally justified, is in very specific situations, like if they already have a knife or a gun, and it's like, oh, so it's like, oh, you need to be better at using a knife than your knife attacker. So it's like, okay, so knives as a self-defense option aren't great, because again, it's extremely difficult to legally justify the use of a knife. There are very, very few scenarios in which you can make that argument, and in order to be able to use them in those scenarios, you need to be significantly better than the other person who has a knife, and that requires a ton of extra training. So it's like, knives are not a great self-defense tool in that regard. Because remember, we live in a society with rules and laws and morals. So it's like, you have to take that into account, and you need to be able to take that into account almost instantly. Because what's the point of defending yourself from danger if you're just gonna go to jail and be in more danger? Miss out on time with your family, miss out on all sorts of things. So, yeah, you need to be able to very quickly, if you're gonna be using a knife, if you're carrying a knife for self-defense, you need to be able to instantly be like, oh, I can use this here, or oh, I shouldn't use this here. And without a lot of training, without a lot of practice, you're not going to be able to do that. You know, unless you're really already really fucking good at fighting. And then remember that there can be times where morally you're 100% justified in using a knife in self-defense, and then the prosecutor is going to be like, well, you're already so skilled with your hands, why didn't you just use your hands and not kill the guy? And it's like, and that is an argument that will put you to jail. And like I said, you can be morally justified. Doesn't matter to the law. The laws and morality are not the same thing, and they often don't intersect. So they're very, compared to the amount of laws that don't intersect with morality and the amount of laws that do, it very rarely happens. So, you know, these are all things to take into consideration when it comes to self-defense. And the thing about self-defense is that it's almost easier to justify using a gun than it is to justify anything else, just because of case law. And so it's just like, oh shit, well, huh. And then it's like, well, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to just carry a gun? And it's like, maybe. I don't know. If you want to, that's your prerogative. This is, of course, talking about the United States, because that's all I have experience with. I am a big believer in carrying pepper spray, and cause pepper spray has been proven time and time again to be the most effective, truly non-lethal option. And what I mean by that is that it is significantly harder to kill somebody when using pepper spray. Significantly harder. Compared to things like a knife or a baton or a stun gun. And it's still proven to be extremely effective. It's probably not going to stop a absolutely dedicated attacker instantly, but it will it will get them off of you, right? At the very least. And sometimes that is all you need. You do not need to incapacitate. You just need to get enough distance to where you can make an escape. And pepper spray, more often than not, will give you that. Whereas something like a stun gun. So the thing about stun guns is at a I think it's a high enough, I don't know if it's a high enough voltage or amperage, they will just like the muscles in your opponent's body will just lock up and cease to function while you're electrocuting them. The thing is that at that level, you are at the level that it needs to be able to do that with any kind of consistency. There is significant risk at actually killing the person as well. Because guess what? Your heart is a muscle as well. And so, you know, the level of power that a stun gun needs to, taser's a brand, by the way, the level of power that a stun gun needs to be effective consistently, the risk of killing the person is significantly higher. And what I mean by that is the level of stun guns that are available for like consumers in general across the United States are not powerful enough to do that consistently. Sometimes it will, but most of the time it's just going to be pain compliance, and it's not actually doing the physiological thing where it causes your opponent's muscles to lock up and stop moving. And so if you're out buying a stun gun at like a store or something, it's probably not powerful enough to do that. The ones that are available and are powerful enough to do that are in law enforcement, but people get killed by stun guns from law enforcement all the time for several reasons. One, because they're using significantly more powerful stun guns, and two, usually because they're using it for too long. And so it is not a good non-lethal option. It's a less than lethal option, but it's not a good non-lethal option, whereas pepper spray is significantly less likely to kill someone easily. Like they unless they have something like asthma. And if they have something like asthma, they really shouldn't be attacking people. Controversial take there. If he has asthma, probably shouldn't be attacking people. You know, just a little bit of life advice from, you know, me there. Don't attack people if you have asthma. Okay, so I don't heal, but I get younger. Got it.